Welcome to Inside Out. My name is Junior Badila. I'm not alone today. I'm with Philippe Shamamba. This show is a weekly show with myself, Junior Badila, and Philippe Shamamba. So we bring current issue happening in the United Kingdom. We try to link it with news in DRCongo, Democratic Republic of Congo. And we all know today is yesterday was the passing of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, at the age of 99. We're going to explore that issue. We're going to talk about the relationship between United Kingdom and DRC, and the recent protest of young people in Beni, eastern of Congo, against the presence of MONUSCO. MONUSCO is acronym of United Nations Forces in DRC. Hi, Philippe Shamamba, how are you doing?
Hi, Junior. Hi, everyone. Thanks. I'm good. And you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Not bad. Philippe Shamamba, we first of all, we're going to talk about the death of the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, at the age of 99 yesterday. He served this country, United Kingdom, for a long time. He was really involved in alongside the Queen.
Yes, Junior. Yeah. Prince Philip passed. Very sad news. You know, when you lose somebody that great who has fought for the country, it's very sad news. Just to let people know, he was going to be 100 in 2 months, I think. Yeah, because he was born the 10th of June, 1921. So he was going to be 100 years old in June. So rest in peace. Yes, very sad news. It's always very sad news to lose somebody that, especially of that character, of that status. Like you say, he fought for the country. Prince Philip came from royal family as well. He was from the Greek and the Danish royal family. He was born in Greece. And when he was 18 months, they left Greece. And then I think they moved in the UK, and when he grew up, he studied in France, he studied in Germany, and studied in the UK. He joined the army. When he was only 18, he met Queen Elizabeth II, who's the queen, and she was 13 at the time.
The Queen when he left, she was young.
Yeah, she was 13. So he was 18 to 13. They didn't meet properly. He was just about writing letters, all the time writing letters. Then he had to go to the war in 1940. The Second World War, 1940-45. He joined the Navy, UK Navy. And when he came back, that's after 5 years. She was, I think, 18, and he was about 20-something, 22, 23. And then he was authorized to be engaged to the Queen Elizabeth II, and since then they have been together until now. Very good couple, very long relationship. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yes, sad news. Really sad news. Rest in peace. This is reflecting on the life of the Prince Philip. It gives us the news, the sad news of passing of the Prince Philip. It brought, it was, I would say, it brought issue in Congo. Many people try to reflect because he's a great man, and he's well known around the world, and many people try to reflecting on his life, not just in Commonwealth country, English-speaking country, I mean former UK colonies, but even in French-speaking countries as well. I follow French-speaking, African French-speaking countries news, Ivory Coast, Gabon, our Congo, DRC. It was quite headline yesterday, and he made us think of the connection between UK and DRC at the moment. Where do you think the relationship, the ties between UK and DRC lies?
Yeah, we have a very long history, the Congo and the UK. If we go back, Congo is an ex-Belgian colony. But what tied to the Congo with Belgium is, for the United Kingdom is, back in the 18th century, going to the 19th century, when the British were kind of exploring the planet, there was this guy called Dr. Livingstone, who was given a mission to find out where the source of the Nile is. And this guy went by traveling, and he found himself in the Congo. And then when he was there, he spent such a long time that they started getting worried. And the Queen sent another guy, another explorer, who was American-ish, British. His name was Henry Morton Stanley.
He was Welsh as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's Welsh, American, kind of, yeah, British. So he was sent to the Congo to find Dr. Livingstone. And when he went to the Congo, it took him, so because he had to travel from the western part of the Congo all the way to the eastern part of the Congo, which is very, very long distance to reach. So it took him months just by asking, and he finally found Dr. Livingstone somewhere in, I think, now Equateur,
yeah,
in Ujiji.
So when Ujiji.
Yeah, Ujiji, yeah. So when he found him there, Dr. Livingstone decided not to come back to the UK because he found a paradise in the Congo. That's why he didn't want to even to carry on the mission. And then Stanley will come back to the UK and will tell the Queen here what he found in the Congo. So the diamonds, the gold, the wealth, the people, the weather.
Rich territory.
It was so amazing. Yes, it was so amazing. And the Queen was quite busy. The UK was quite busy at the time, you know, British Empire. They had so many countries she was looking after. And he told Henry Morton Stanley to go to see his cousin in Belgium, who was King Leopold II. But to do that, he asked him to go and see him and to take care of what he found in the Congo, that particular area. So in order to do that, he saw Leopold II. And then they sort of did the studies. They had to spend some money in order to do whatever they wanted to do in the Congo. So the royal family, UK royal family, and other big business people, multinationals, they put money together and gave to the Leopold II. And then in 1884 and 1885, there was a Berlin Conference de Berlin, they call it. And from that's when they did split Africa. The whole Africa was split. You know, many European countries occupied. She said, "Me, I'll take this. I'll take part, this part, this part, this part."
So they share the plates. They share the cake. You're sharing.
Yeah, we call it that. Yes, they share the cake. But most of the countries where when they split it, the Congo was made as a free market, a market where multinationals and then the royal family sort of did belong to them. But Leopold II was like the man who we call who was there, the main man to look after this mission, who was there to take care of the part of the world, which is the Congo. And him being there, so he treated Congo as his own property.
Yeah, Congo that time was even since before the Berlin Conference. Congo was his own domain, his own private domain.
he treated as his own pockets. It's called Independent State of Congo.
Oh.
So which was his, not Belgian. It treated as his own pocket because he had the money that the British gave him to do, what can I say, to have the Congo as theirs, as a free state where everybody can go and make business.
And trade.
As if, yeah, it's trade. It's like free trade trading place.
In other things as well, I think just along the same way, I think in 1889, during the anti-slavery conference, is where the Leopold II, the Belgian king, was given a large sum of money to make Congo as, I mean, to engage in the large infrastructure in order to end the slavery. I think it was the same way, the large sum of amounts to develop Congo, the large infrastructure, to engage in a large infrastructure works in order to develop Congo as well. He was allow permissions to levy import duty and taxes in Congo on any, during that time where people were coming to trade. He was allow permission to levy import duty and taxes. In every country's trader, they will come to pay taxes, but he used it for his own domain, is it?
Yeah, Congo being for him his own property, his own pocket. Like you said, he lost lots of money, multinationals, companies, and the royal family here gave him so much money for the infrastructure. Because when Stanley came, what you saw in the Congo says, well, without rail tracks, railway in the Congo is worth nothing. That everything they have, you have to take it from the west to the east, from the east to the west. From Kinshasa, you can take a ship from Kinshasa, go to the western part of the east part of the country. But from Kinshasa, which is the capital city, to where you all the goods, all the natural resources can be shipped abroad. Only train can do that because you cannot go there by boat because you have all this goes mountains, you have waterfalls, so it's impossible to take anything out. So they had to build roads, they had to do railways, so that really they needed so much money. And the people who sent Henry Morton Stanley to go to see the King Leopold II in order to look, well, the Queen sent him to look after the new place they discovered. They had to give money, so much money. And up to today, nobody knows the amount. And these people who send the money, for them up to now, the Congo still owe them. They still own the place.
Let's go back to Henry Morton Stanley. So the Welsh, American, British journalist. So when he went to Congo to discover Livingstone, he came back and he made a report. He made a report in terms of abuse, in terms of human rights, which was abused in terms of killings of Congolese, for imposing them quota on what they have to produce in order the King Leopold. That's a report as well made a significant change.
Yeah, there was this guy, there was a journalist who was very interested to the what was going on in the Congo. He's from Liverpool as well. His name was Morel. He wanted to know what's going on in the Congo as a journalist. So he went to Belgium, and they got a job as working at the seaport in Belgium. What he saw, it was big boats used to go to the Congo with nothing, but will come back full with lots of mineral, so much stuff were coming. So the guy was very curious. He wanted to go and see what's going on in the Congo, what's happening. And when he went there with as a missionary in the boat, He spent a couple years or 3 years. He saw the atrocity that was happening there. I mean, it was impossible, unbelievable. People were having their hand, cats, because everybody, at the time, you know, when they invented car, they needed tires. Yeah, so the main material, the raw material that they did the tires at the time was coming from Congo. So it came from the tree. So if everyone had a quota, you had to bring certain amount of
timber
material. Yeah. So if you don't reach the amount we're supposed to bring, you have to show people to make them scared so they can bring what they ask to. They will have their hand chopped. And every year, for every month, the ship used to leave Congo and come to Belgium full of big cases. And all these cases, what they had inside were people's hands.
Heads and hands.
Heads. And to prove that they were killing so many men, they had to bring men's manhood in those suitcases. So that was, the guy was really disgusted. And when he came back, he went back to Liverpool because he was working for a newspaper, and he wrote a report. And that report, at today's world, we say went viral. Everybody read that report and were really interested to find out. And then yeah, and from that, the liberation, like I don't know to say, of Congo kicked up.
According to some reports at that time, they figure out about 50% of Congolese population died because of the atrocities, because of the killings, because of the King Leopold II business activities that people were not looked after, malnourished.
We may call that was the first genocide that ever happened in the world, because half of the population was wiped out in King Leopold II. Congo had about 20 million people at the time, and from 1885, I think, until 1889, nearly 10 million people were wiped out of Congo.
Yeah, I read the book of The Dark of Harkness. Dark of Harkness, wrote by British Polish writer Conrad. Wow. I would recommend that. I think you read that book, especially. I read it in English a long time ago. I couldn't even finish it. Let's bring up, this is long story anyway, that many people know.
Very long story. Let's catch also, we were talking about Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. So just to show how royal family is linked to the Congo, what relation they have, you see. And as for Duke of Edinburgh's death, people call me from Congo. I mean, they were asking me how it happened. Well, we just say, well, he died. He was quite ill. He suffered for quite a while. Just 2 months before his century, he died. May he rest in peace. But another thing I wanted to say, in our culture, when a person that age dies, people celebrate. Why they celebrate? Because the man has lived. Because he had children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And if a man of that age dies in Congo, we said the library is gone.
The library is gone, but he left the legacy behind. Library is gone, but the legacy
stays.
Stays.
Another thing, back home, the older you get, the more respect you get. The more people want to hear from you. Like the Indian villages, if somebody, the older they get, they used to go under the tree, they will stay, and all the kids from the area will come and listen to stories.
They will gather.
They will gather every night. So they will acquire the knowledge. So instead of being alone, as you're growing up, more people want to hear from you. More people are feeling closer to you. Or other culture, as you're getting older, you're becoming alone. But
you're becoming alone. You stay in a
home care or I don't know where. But back in Africa, in the Congo, for example, the older you get, the more people want to hear from
more
you, the
people they
more
stay with you. They
people
want to
are
listen,
coming.
hear from you. They want to
Listen, yeah,
learn
have the
from
knowledge
your
to learn from
experience.
you. Exactly, from your experience. So when another person that age dies, it's sad to lose somebody from your family. It's very sad. Somebody that was there with you.
I listen to
Yeah,
testimony. He is a great man. He was a great man. He
a really
touched a
great
lot
man.
of
Yeah,
people's lives,
and
not just in the UK but worldwide.
he had a
People,
sense of humor as well. Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
he has a sense of humor. People are testifying. He supported. I was quite shocked. He supported 800 charities. Wow,
yeah.
which touched people's life. Let talk. Do you think, people were, how were they called as well from Congo? I follow a few news. People were relying on UK news about the headline about the passing of Prince Philip. But you mentioned the tide, the involvement, the implication of UK 19th century into Belgian Congo that time, that they play a crucial role in Congo. Do you think after that, when Belgium took over, because that time it was a Leopold II private property, but when Belgium took over, I mean, Belgian parliament decided to take over, and the king ceased to be the owner of Congos. Do you think UK supposed to take over, or UK did not see interest to go on and take over the Belgian? And since then, that relationship ended between UK and the Congo. Let me bring. I went once in Congo. Someone told me that Boma, which is a town in south of Congo. Boma is in province of
The first capital of Congo. Yeah,
the first capital of Congo.
capital,
Boma
yeah.
is the acronym of British Overseas Military Administration. So it's where British used to go. They used to have their Boma. So British Overseas Military Administration. So they were there. So they left. So do you think since they left Congo that time, so they lost interest as well? So they don't focus on Congo anymore instead of trying to play a certain role.
That's an interesting question. Well, the reason Leopold II, the Congo was taken away from Leopold II and to become Congo Belge, which is Belgian Congo. So the Belgium took it instead of the king had to have it. It's because the king had too much debt, because he had to spend and spend and spend. And the money he was spending, like we say, was the money that was given to him by multinationals and other families, like we say. Plus the atrocity that was going in Congo, all put together. And I think from that, they decided, no, now the Congo, instead of being his property, the Congo will become Belgian Congo. So the whole Belgian governments, the Belgium country, took Congo as a colony.
So let me rephrase my question. Do you think, look, let's try to compare French-speaking countries and English-speaking countries. Give example of Nigerian, Ghana, and maybe Sierra Leone, compared to French-speaking country. Let's see the growth, the economic level, the level of development, infrastructures. Do you think if UK stayed in Congo, they could play a major role in Congo's progress?
Yeah, but that's how the coming up. The British or the English, they never left. Because remember, we had bipolar worlds, okay? We had the Soviet Union, which was the socialists. And then we had the other parts, capitalists, which Americans, the British, the French, all of them. And the Congo played major role because it surrounded all the socialist countries. So Mobutu, who was president of Congo at the time, he was like a main man who played a big role I even remember I read a book. I saw pictures of Mobutu was one of the only presidents or chief of state of Africa who came here to the UK and had an amazing reception.
That was
The man was,
in
yes.
1973. Is one. Yeah, that's right. It was one of the first African leader to be welcomed here in Buckingham Palace.
He was welcomed, and then he's one of the only people who sat with the Queen in what can I say? What you call this thing again?
Buckingham Palace.
No, when the Queen we see is being celebrated, she sits in this thing then with the horse. What do you call it again?
Oh, the carriage.
I think the carriage. Yeah, he's the only Nelson Mandela was in that carriage. Mobutu, and I think Zambian president. I think no, Ghanaian president Kwame Nkrumah.
Mugabe came. Mugabe, Mandela, they came later, 1990s. But before
he was the only two of them, Kwame Nkrumah and Mobutu. Kwame Nkrumah being from Commonwealth country could make sense. Like you say, Mobutu came from a French-speaking country, what we said. So that shows you the tie between Congo and the English-speaking countries. So it wasn't English or French-speaking country at the time. It was like it's a bipolar world. You had the Russians, there was the Soviet Union and the socialists one side. And you had the other side, Americans, the British, the French. So it doesn't matter if you spoke French or you spoke English. No,
but that's why it was a Cold War between the West.
Yeah, the West, the East and the West. And after that, when in 1990, I think, when the Berlin Wall went down, then Soviet Union turned to Russia. And then after that, bipolar world was no longer there. So what happened is we had multinationals who took over.
Yeah.
So it was going to cost them so much money to keep the Zaire at the time. And then from that, they decided to kind of like leave the country alone. Then that changed, and they went up to Mobutu's death.
But
and after that, what we see now.
But let me take you to the context, Philip. I don't know because the Congo suffers quite a lot of tragedies. We mentioned since the King Leopold II, even before that, slavery trade. According to some stories, Congo was one of the first kingdoms at that time to supply slaves. Congo was one of the first territory in Africa where the first Afro-American slave came from. Then after that, the tragedy with the King Leopold II, where 50% of Congolese that time lost their lives. And we should learn the lesson. UK is a permanent member of the UN Security Council and a major donor to DRCongo. They support peace process, stable election, involved in a economic growth. Do you think that is enough to help or assist Congo to be stable? Definitely. I mean, what I mean stable in terms of security, because Congo never gained security since the overthrow of Mobutu in 1997.
Yeah, Mobutu could secure the place because, as I say, he had the major role to play. But after that, with the fall of the Berlin Wall, now the country became was not really depending on the what do you call it? So they had to change the geopolitical situation, and then they had to find other new actors who could play. Yeah, so Mobutu was no longer needed.
He was no longer a key player.
Yeah, was no longer a key player. They had to change the game, you see. And then what happens. But coming back to your question, yeah, go on.
What are games, or context benefit to to citizen or to the main players? Because citizen, I mean population don't benefit anything from that context, that games.
No, really. When these guys do talk, they talk in terms of business. They don't talk in terms of population. Population could benefit from the business if they could, but they don't talk about population. They talk about how good the business is, how they can run the business so they get what they want to get. Like in the Congo, I mean, Congo is one of the potentially richest countries in the world. If you, I mean, the potentially rich in the way that it was valued, Congo could be worth $24,000 billion, which is 24 trillion, which is like America, Europe put together, the GDP together. That's how rich potentially Congo is. But in reality, it's one of, if not the most, well, the poorest country, one of the poorest country in the world.
Yeah, one of the poorest now. Congo is one of the poorest.
It should be one of the richest, one of the wealthiest. But potentially it is. That just shows you when these guys are talking about wealth, they don't talk about population. They talk about businesses,
their own interests.
Yeah, if population can benefit from it, be it. If you're not benefiting from it, be it. But they will grab as much as they can. So that's the situation.
I remember when Mobutu was overthrown in 1997, Benin was, in terms of GDP, Congo's GDP was higher compared to Benin's one. But today, Benin's GDP is I think it's double time than Congolese one.
Yeah.
Quite
that's correct. I mean, after 1960, after the independence, Congo was same level as South Korea, Canada. South Africa was just under Congo. Nigeria was nowhere near Congo. But today, look where how far Canada is, South Korea is. South Africa is one of, if not the first, the second wealthiest country in Africa.
It's quite Congo, scary. We follow the news in Congo this week. It was on Thursday, Friday. There was a protest, young people protest against UN troops in Congo. Do you think MONUSCO, which is acronym of UN Nation Mission in DR Congo, should go? Because that was they were claiming, that they want MONUSCO to leave the Congo, to leave eastern of Congo, particularly Beni, where the protest happened. It was on Thursday, on Friday, even on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, and yesterday they were quite light protests. Do you think yourself and I, we do follow news in eastern of Congo? We're quite close to few people who are following news as well in Congo. Do you think MONUSCO should leave Congo?
Just for those who don't know what MONUSCO is in French, Mission des Nations Unies pour la stabilité du Congo, which is a United Nations mission to stabilize the Congo. This started in 1999 after the Lusaka Agreement, where in 1997 Mobutu was toppled and Laurent Desire Kabila came. And then when he came with the Rwandans, and then he asked the Rwandans to leave. Then there was a war. It was called African War because you had Namibia, Angola, other Southern African countries backing Congo, and the other side you had Uganda, Rwanda, and fighting. So they called it African World War.
So it's about eight official,
1998, I think.
8 official armies were fighting in Congo. 8 together.
Yeah, 8 together. Yeah. Then there was a peace agreement in in Zambia, and from that peace agreement, they agreed that UN should send in blue helmets to impose or to observe peace in the Congo. Yeah, to stabilize the country. So when the first time was MONUC, which was a mission des Nations Unies, Congo, which was United Nations mission in the Congo. At the time, the mission was not to stabilize. It was just to observe, to see what's going on about the peace process. At the time, we had about 5,000 or 7,000 soldiers, peacekeepers. And then after the war, in 2003, there was another war that broke, you know, with after Kabila's death. Because Kabila was toppled as well, he died. Then they decided to send more troops. So now we have 20,000 strong men in the Congo, which is MONUSCO. Then the name changed from MONUC to MONUSCO. MONUSCO is the biggest peacekeeper, UN army or UN peacekeeping in the world. And they've been there since 1999. We are now at 2021, which means nearly 21 to 22 years they are there. From the time they went there up to now, more than 2 or 3 million people have died, and they are there. So most of them are concentrated in the eastern part. This is where.
So up to now, is no even jobs done yet.
No, no job done, not at all. Nothing is done, because now it's even now worse. People are being killed. People are being slaughtered.
So do you?
Where
do you
UN
feel
soldiers are? Yeah.
Do you let put in that context? The UK, as I said, is a permanent member of the UN Security Council and a major donor in DRC. Do you think UK should voice up young people? Because it's not just young people, many politicians, long time, they were claiming that MONUSCO should go. Even the former president, Joseph Kabila, remember, he was campaigning, but requesting that I think we should review our relationship with MONUSCO and to see in a way they should end the mission because they didn't achieve what was supposed to be achieved. So do you think UK should review their role is in terms of voicing, listening to people who are claiming that MONUSCO should go? Is the time that
UK, like you say, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, donor in the Congo right now. And the UK is one of the Security Council permanent member. So when the UK say no, because there are 6 of them, if one of them say no, they will. So UN Security Council, I think in January or February, because MONUSCO mandate went to the end, so they had to renew it. Security Council is the one that renews it. Like you say, Kabila, when he was president, he was campaigning for MONUSCO to start slow withdrawal because they didn't see any results. 20 years, $1 billion every year is going on the budget so they can get paid. You know, $1 billion a year. Even Congolese army hasn't got that money. Which has about 100,000, more than 200,000 soldiers. But MONUSCO is 20,000, but they have $1 billion a year as a budget. But in 20 years, no results. Kabila did ask them to start slow withdrawal.
So
but they haven't left. So
what was the driving force behind young people protests?
So young people, like I was saying, so young people are mad. Not mad or mad. They weren't all mad because what is happening in eastern part of Congo and UN and MONUSCO is there is unbelievable. People are being killed, slaughtered 5-10 meters from where MONUSCO headquarters is, from MONUSCO camps. There was a program on France 24. If you look, you will see a reporter going to do filming, asking questions to UN MONUSCO soldiers who are maybe 5 meters from where people have been killed. People have been, I don't want to say words because that's horrible things happening there. And they ask him, you are just 5 meters. You can see what is happening there because this is just near you. Why don't you ask? Why don't you do something for that not to happen? I mean, the guy had no answer. He kept quiet because he didn't know what to say. And another one is say, well, we've been asked to observe, not to act, to intervene. But you are there for stability. When you talk about stability, it means you're there to stop whatever is happening there, so the place is stable. But since you've been there more than 20 years, crimes and deaths of people is just increasing, going up and up. That's why young people are really mad. Because last week, in the last 2 weeks, hundreds of people got killed. I don't even want to say it, because if you see
this time
horrible images, and the young people are saying, no, you guys might as well leave. So they all stood up. They start burning MONUSCO's places. They start, just ask them to leave. Yeah.
Do you, that's final question. Do you think if MONUSCO leaves now, and FRDC is the Congolese army, will be able to secure that area, that vast area of eastern of Congo by themselves?
I think Congolese government, if FRDC, which is the Congolese army name, if Congolese government take responsibilities, the UN is not there and MONUSCO is not there any longer, can ask help of other brother countries, other countries come and help. But and I'm sure FRDC, they have soldiers, they have men who can fight in that side. They only have to be given the correct mission. They need to give in what they need. I'm sure they will do the job. Because what's the point you being there doing nothing? You might as well just go and let me be responsible.
Thank you, Philip, for your time. It's been good to always discuss with you with regard to what happened here and link it to Congo, bridging news, current news between UK and Congo. Is there anything you want to add before we say bye-bye to our listeners, our viewers?
Yeah, I want to add regarding what is going on in Congo. I mean, I don't know what else it would take for the world to raise up and to see what's going on in Congo, man. I mean, Congo has lost more than 8 million people. Some people even say 10 million. What else need to happen in the Congo for the world to see what's going on there, to say, no, that enough is enough, this needs to stop? Imagine losing 10 million people. This is like Belgium, Dutchland, Sweden, how many countries put together? Everyone, all of them wiped out. There's nobody living. You understand? So what else? If that's not genocide, you can say, I don't know what you call it. So the world needs to do something, because what is happening now, what has been happening lately, if you see images,
horrible images, we don't even want to share. I think it's been in the news.
You don't want to describe it, because that'd be terrible. I mean, the world needs to do something now, because what's going on now is really bad.
Thank you, Philip. I think we'll come back to that subject. It's quite, I know it's a very sensitive issue, but we need to bring it up. We need to bring it up. We need to discuss it with people who are in the area. We know people that we might bring in to discuss, share with us their knowledge of the situation now, because enough is enough. As we said, we've been seeing images, horrible images, long time ago, and people have been campaigning. Like Dr. Mukwege has been there up front and front line campaigning, inviting people that we need to stop the tragedy because it's keep happening. I think we need to do something. And from myself and you and I, the way we are discussing, we'll be able to discuss even further by bringing people who are in the area to share their expertise with us. Thank you, Philip, for your time, and thank you to everyone who's listening, following, and see you.
And, I thank everyone for listening. We'll be here next Saturday as a weekly show. We'll bring some very interesting subject next week.
All right.
Thank you for watching us.
All right. Thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Philip. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.